about how my week has been, or a little bit longer than a week. About a week and a half ago, I pulled up the lesson that I needed to do for this speech, and I was reading it, and it said something to the effect of, take a second crack at your persuasive speech. So in my head, that means that you're going to take the one that you did before, you're going to tweak it a little bit, and you're going to go and present it again. But because I wasn't sure, and because the syllabus said to contact your peers first, I reached out to my peers. The only problem with that was they were all having the same question that I was having, and they didn't know what they were supposed to do either. So we were all kind of stuck. And so in my thinking, I said, well, I'll just email Professor Collins and see what he says. But I can do that later. I've got plenty of time to do that. I'll do it later, and I got a week and a half. And of course, in my head, I'm also thinking, if we're redoing the same speech, I did really good on that speech, and I'll just tweak it a little bit, not move around so much, because that was the feedback I got, and I'll be fine. So in the process of all of that, I got busy and I forgot to email. Well, let me tell you about my getting busy. I work at my church, and every year we do this really great thing for a local school. You guys know what that is. And that happens to be this week. So in that, I spent a lot of time this week being at the mercy of other people. You see, I do all the print media that goes out of our church. And so I spent a lot of time waiting for content, sending it to the designers, sending it back to the designers after we proofed it, sending it to printers, the printers getting content, sending it to the designer, sending it to the printer. And it was just kind of this busy hurry up, wait scenario that's happened all week. And in the process of all that, the last thing I'm thinking about is doing a speech. Of course, remember, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I got this, no big deal. Well, so yesterday comes around, I get up, I get ready to go to the church, I grab my MacBook, I go to the church, and I'm doing my whole hurry up and wait thing. And in one of my wait moments, I open up my computer. Good life lesson here. I open up my computer and I look in that folder that you have, because you have a folder that says school, and I'm trying to pull up my speech, only the speech isn't there. I go to the documents folder, no speech. I go to the little icon that says find, and I type in the name of the speech, and there's no speech. And I'm kind of panicking. And so at that point, I look on my church computer thinking maybe for some reason that was the computer I used. No speech. I text my kids, bring me my iPad, because I'm thinking, all these devices that I have that cloud together, somewhere in there maybe I didn't cloud it and I just saved it on my iPad. So my son brings my iPad, no speech. Now, I am in full-on panic mode at this point, because all I'm thinking is I'm going to have to go on YouTube, watch myself give the speech, and rewrite the whole thing. And I don't really have time for that, so maybe I'm just going to have to try to rewrite it from memory. Now, there's this old adage that says, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. That is profound. Life lesson for today. Profound statement. Okay? But my problem is I know that makes sense, but it's applying that to my life. You see, if I'd have done a week and a half ago, what I needed to do is, instead of putting it off, Tuesday night when I took my last final, I would have been done with my semester, because I would have already had my speech done. It wasn't that I was waiting on anything substantial. I knew that I could probably turn in the same speech, but I put it off thinking that I had plenty of time. Now, we live in kind of a very overloaded society, and that's typically what we do. We will push it off and push it off and push it off. What you should do is look at the things that you have control over and look at the things that you don't have control over. If you don't have control over it, I didn't have control over designers, I didn't have control over printers, I did have control over getting a speech done, presented, and turned in. I should have went ahead and done that instead of keep pushing it off in those times when I was waiting. But instead I waited, and here I am on Friday morning doing a speech and trying to get it turned in within an hour of the due date, or the deadline. So don't put it off. Go ahead and get it done. Now, in the grand scheme of all of this, here's what happens here's the other life lesson that I learned about panicking and waiting to the last minute. When I panic, I don't look for things well. You see, I found that speech, and it was in Evernote. Evernotes that I didn't think I was using. And I didn't scroll down far enough. That's what happens when you wait to the last minute. All right.